So he's got this big gun, and he's standing up, and now, another one of the things that you've heard, you see a lot of guys out there, very, very rarely do you see a guy with a rifle, but they'll have a little 38 Magnum, which is almost a gun if you're facing a bear. And so you ask them, what in the world do you do with a gun like that, with a bear? And he says, well, you can fire a shot and scare them off if they charge, and they may not charge. One of the pictures that we saw, there's a book of an artist in Alaska who has photographs in his drawing. And one of the photographs he has is a full-face shot of a bear that charged him. And he had a camera lens, maybe a little bit of a telephoto lens, so you don't know how close he was. But he got to where the bear's head filled the full frame of the picture, and the guy had no weapon. He was lost. And he took a picture, and the click of the camera is what stopped the bear. He turned around and ran off. So you hear all these stories, but when you're standing there 20 yards away, and this guy's... The next thing, if it doesn't turn the bear around, is that you've got to wait until he's about right here, and then shoot him right between the eyes. In the head, you've got to shoot him in the head, and you'll kill the bear. The last thing you want to do is wound him. Shoot with a pistol if he's somewhere over there, because that's only going to be a sting, and it's going to really tick him off. So you have to wait till he's right here, and he's going to hurt you. You're going to get hurt. So here we are. We've got this bear, and Zach's down here. He said, "What's going on, Dad? What's going on?" I said, "Shut up, Zach." And Stu Ramstad's walking back and forth. "Get out of here, you!" And his language just burning the air. And his high-pitched voice, and he's walking back and forth. He's got this, "Get out of here now!" And the bear's up, and then he's down, and he's sitting, he's kind of sniffing around, and they have terrible eyesight. Another thing you hear about bears is that they don't have very good eyes, and they have no peripheral vision. That's why when they're walking, they're always moving their head like this, because they can't see peripherally. So that's the way they look, and they can't see very far at all, but they got a terrific nose. So he heard this dog and saw this little black animal, and he's thinking he's going to have a hot dog for lunch. That's what Stu's saying to us. So Zach's got a fish on one side. "Stu, should I have Zach cut the fish off?" He said, "No, just let the line go slack." So we got a little standoff here. We're going to have a little Mexican standoff here with this old boar. "Get out of here." And you don't know what to do with him like this. It's just an obnoxious old cuss, and we'll stand here. I think we'll be all right. "Get out of here." The bear's standing up again, and my heart's pounding. I'm starting to think. So now I'm thinking, how am I going to tell Annie that her little boy was eaten by a bear? I'm also wondering how far I can throw this child into that river, and whether he'll think to get his waders off. Because if this bear gets in the middle of us and we don't kill him, we're just in real trouble. And there's only one gun, and somebody else has it. If you have the gun, I have all the confidence in the world in Stu. He's been in the situation more times than I have, certainly, and so. But you're thinking about Zach, and God, will he think to get to the airplanes and get inside and not leave the airplanes and maybe flip the master switch on and get a radio on and call somebody and tell him where he is, or at least have the sense to wait until tomorrow, because there'll be more fishermen here tomorrow. There's incidents that happen all the time up there, and people come the next day and there's somebody been eaten by a bear. In fact, there was about a week before we were there, a surveyor and his girlfriend were camping, and they both got mauled terribly by the bear. If the guy was killed, the girl going to have a pretty tough life. So all of these stories and everything's just going through your mind, and you can't talk much, and Zach doesn't think, "What's going on, Dad?" He says, "Shut up, Zach." Now, but he can't, now he's up here standing beside me. Dave the dude is over here with the dog down, and Stu Ramstad is about right where you are, and the bear is between here and the back tent. And he's standing up, he's looking for that dog, and then he's down again. And I've never been more scared in my life. So this goes on for about 20 minutes. And finally Stu says, "Well, maybe we ought to try to mosey on down here to the airplane and leave this guy to his fishing hole." Not only do we know that the fish are coming in, the bear know this. They live there. So we turn and we start to walk. Stu goes first, and Dave the dude keeps the dog sheltered, and his hand over the muzzle picks him up and starts walking with him, and then Zach, and then me. Now about 10 yards from us, there's a stand of trees that goes in a straight line like this. It's a very thin stand of trees, so you can see through it this way, but you can't see through it looking down the length of it. And as we start to move, the bear gets down and starts to move. And I'm watching this guy, and I see him get to the other side of these trees, and he charges. And he's running at Stu, and I say, Stu, he's coming at you! And Stu turns around, and at about 10 yards, he fires one shot beside the bear, and it turned the bear around. The bear ran off about 50 yards, and hung around for another 15, 20 minutes, and then he left. But if he hadn't turned around, he would have one more chance, which is right here. And we were in big trouble.
Wasn't that the longest hours?
Oh, God. Well, the whole thing only lasts about 25, 30 minutes. Well, 20, 25 minutes, I guess. And
Was that
yeah, it was a long time. No, he wasn't. You know, one of the things that happens with a little kid is that if you're not scared, they're not going to get scared. At one point during this, though, with the bear standing over here, when Zach's standing up here beside me and seeing how close this bear is and how big it is, and when this bear stands up, it's about a 10-foot bear. 10 foot tall. Bigger than, 2 or 3 feet bigger than this guy Stu Ramsett, who's 6'6".